For the people online, if you can hear me good, I'm going to go through a presentation that should last 15, 20 minutes at most. And then after that, the people are in the classroom are going to get hands-on, I hope, and mess around and try and figure out which one of these things they like. If you're at home or someplace else, sorry, you can download it and play around with it yourself. First thing I want to tell you is if you come to the library's homepage, up in the left-hand corner, excuse me, the right-hand corner, it says search library website. You can get to our web pages that we set up for all of these citation managers. So there's one for Endnote, there's one for Mendeley, there's one for Zotero. You just type the title, the name of it in, and it will go there. Or you could put in Citation Managers, and you'll come up to a link that will go to the different citation managers. I'm going to go to the Endnote one. And when I do the search, it says Home Endnote for Windows. There's a web page that does Endnote for Windows, and there's also a page that does Endnote for Macintosh. What I've tried to do I've set up the pages for Endnote and for Mendeley. No, I should introduce myself. My name is Mike Muchow. And Rachel Breckus is the Zotero librarian or teacher. Hello. What I try to do is have it linked to their official videos. So, I mean, they should be up to date, telling you what they need to know. Their videos are better than anything I could make, trust me. They go through. So if you want to get kind of an overview of what's happening with these things, you can go there and do it. There are links on where to download them. Zotero and Mendeley are free. You go to the web and you'll just download it to your computer for free. Endnote is not free. It's a commercial product, but you can get it free as a student. So where it says get and install Endnote, can you just click that, Rachel? It tells you to go to do it self-service portal and log in. And they used to have it online so you could download it, and they've transferred it to another company. So now it's kind of a confusing process. You end up sending do it. You go through all this stuff, and then you send them a note saying, please send me a copy of Endnote, and they will email you back a link, and you can download it. So it's free to you as a student. It doesn't cost anything. So all these citation managers are free. That's the first thing you should know about. Other things, all set up on the tabs on the side. Rachel's got hers set up slightly different, but essentially, if you can come here, you can get kind of a good introduction to Endnote, how to download it, how to configure it, whatever you need. For this class, what we're going to do is go down to where it says Endnote class. And then what I want to do is click the comparison thing up here. We're going to compare these citation managers. And if you're online, you can do the same thing. So I just went to MU Libraries. I went to Endnote, searched for Endnote, went to the home Endnote page, went down to Endnote class, and now I'm in comparison. First thing I want to do is sort of promote citation managers. I think they're really good. I think that if you're an undergraduate and you are in an honors college or you're writing papers, it just makes sense. If you are a graduate student, it makes a lot of sense. If you are a new graduate student, it makes even more sense because you can figure out how to use this. And then when you have to write a thesis or dissertation, you'll be okay. You'll have it all down. There is a learning curve for it, but I think the learning curve is paid off at the end. I think the benefits are a lot greater than the effort you put into it. So why do I think you should use a citation manager? When you click the first thing, when I download a PDF, it is just, I have no idea what I've got. It says PDF 1 or gives part of the title. And after I got 20 of them, I'm lost. I don't know where my PDFs are. I don't know what they are. It's as if I never had them. The next button, what a citation manager will do will tell you what the PDF is. It's going to break it apart and tell you who the author is, what the title of the thing is. If the PDF's there, it's going to attach it in some way. It's going to take all the information of the PDF and put the metadata someplace so it can format a citation. Once you've got it in here, you can arrange them in folders, you can subdivide them, you can sort them, you can do anything in the world. It just makes it easier to find. You know what you've got. You hit the next slide. They all have the PDF reader or connect to a PDF reader. So you can read them online. You can mark them up. You can make notes, put sticky notes in the thing. Hit the next slide. The other thing I like is you can add separate notes. There are separate notes fields for these citation managers. So this is Mendeley. So I can read over here and I can type in my notes here. When I say notes to most students, they go, ah, doesn't mean a thing. But when I say notes to the faculty, they go, yeah, that's really great, because they know they've got to keep notes or you're going to lose track of your thoughts, why you looked at this, what it was good for, where you wanted to go with it afterwards. If you wanted to make a quote from here, you could say, quote this passage, highlight it so you could go back there. Again, you can tag all this stuff so you can find it in the Citation Manager. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I think this is really good because you're going to keep all of your research in one place and it's manageable. You can find it quickly, it's accessible. Hit the next one, the next slide. The final thing is citations. This is the, I always think, well, at every point in your research, something is more important. When you first start out, the PDFs are important. I got to get that information. And then I got to analyze it. That's kind of where the notes come in. And then I've got to organize it. You can organize by folders and sort all that stuff. And finally, I've got to get the citations out. That's the very last thing. So here you've got citations. It's going to put the in-text citation correctly. It's going to put the bibliography correctly. You guys are not going to use this very much if you're grad students, but if you go on and you write a paper for a journal and they say, sorry, you know, too many papers, or we don't like your topic or something, you say, okay, I'll submit it to another journal. And they say, great, this is our citation style. All you do is hit the next button and it instantly reformats all your citations to the new style. So that is the benefit of the Citation Manager. There are thousands of styles. And if they don't like one, you just choose the next one and hit it, and it will format your whole paper in the correct style. So, is there a best citation manager? I don't think there is. I think each citation manager has one or two aspects that make it stronger than the other. They all do the same thing. They're all going to take citations, tell you what's in, or take PDFs, tell you what's inside of them, and let you format citations. They do it in different ways. And in the end, you have to decide which one works for you. Some people like one, and that it goes with it. It's perfect. The one thing I will tell you is you can take the citations and transfer them to a different citation manager. You can do that. What's really hard are the PDFs. PDFs are pretty much stuck with one citation manager, mostly. I mean, you can try and move them, and you probably can successfully move a lot of them, but you still might have, it depends how many you have. If you're trying to link up thousands of PDFs, you'd be out of luck. So I just came up with some of these things, and we can just pass right by this thing, my grade evaluation criteria. Go to the next slide. Costs, they're all free. So even, you don't pay a thing. Next one, they were set up for different fields. Endnote and Mendeley were developed by people in science, technology, medicine. That's what they were there for. You can use them for humanities, no problem. I'm a humanities librarian. I would have no problem using them at all. Zotero is more or less set up for humanity and social sciences, but again, you could use it for the sciences. My only strong recommendations are, if you are in chemistry, I would use Endnote. And the reason for that is in your bibliography in chemistry, you need journal abbreviations. And Endnote has libraries of journals and journal abbreviations all set up for you, so you don't have to mess around with them. I honestly don't know how the other citation managers get their abbreviations. I think they just sort of come in at the same time. But if the abbreviation is wrong or whatever, guess what? You are responsible for it. You would have to correct it. So I think Endnote would just help me out. Again, Zotero, Rachel promotes it for Chicago style, and she's absolutely right. If you need to put footnotes in the bottom of paper, you need Chicago style. your best bet is to try Zotero. You can do it with these other citation managers, but you're going to have to make a couple of, it's going to be a go-around. Click here, and then add it. Zotero is just going to do it automatically. It'll work fine. Next one. The real difference, I think, is in the format types they look at or can look at. Most of the time, this isn't going to matter to you. You've got a journal article, and you've got a book. And if it's one of those two things, all the citation managers are great. But if you've got something weird, if you're in journalism and you're interviewing people and you need to footnote those interviews, or if you're looking at some kind of ancient text or artwork or something and you need to foot that stuff, then maybe you need to look at these other citation managers. Endnote has 55 types. So, I mean, it's got a book section. All these things have to be formatted different in the citation. So if it doesn't know what it is, it can't make the right citation. So that's it. So half of these things I have no idea. I would never use them. Zotero has 34 of these things. The one that has the fewest is Mendeley. But again, unless you're doing something, really specialized, maybe you don't need that. Maybe all you need are the books, the journal articles. Who cares? I just want the one that works fastest for me, the one I feel comfortable with. Hit the next one, please. Can you create a format type? Yes, you can. There's sort of a general format that you can modify. On Endnote, Mendeley, Zotero, maybe. But I mean, I'd sort of look at what they have. Do I need that? Am I happy with what they've got? Don't worry about it. Hit the next one real fast, and we'll just drive on. Again, I think the real difference, journal names. If you need journal abbreviations and journal names, Endnote's really strong in that. But again, I don't know where they come from. Mendeley just seems to create its own list. Zotero, you know where they come from?
No, it looks like I'm here, Index Medicus Medline.
Well, yeah, a lot of them are going to come, that started to come from Medline or Index Medicus. If you hit the next page, you sort of see what's going on with this thing. These are all the categories that Endnote has for, so anthropology, again, chemical. And if you hit the next one, you can sort of see, here you've got almost 1,400 chemical journals. There's the title of the journal, and there's an abbreviation, and there's two kinds of abbreviation there. So again, chemistry, Endnote, to me, it's a no-brainer, because it's just got all the journals and all the abbreviations. If you're not in chemistry, who cares? Really. Hit the next one. Getting PDFs into your citation manager. Frankly, Endnote I think is kind of a pain, and it takes a while for people to figure out what it is. You go to a library, you go to a database. I say a library database. You could also go to Google or whatever. You mark records. You download the citation into the citation manager. And you press a little icon, and Endnote goes back out and tries to find full text and attach it, which is really cool when it works. If you're off campus, you've got to go through the proxy server, and you've got to go, it's kind of, I don't know, it drives me nuts. It's complicated. The first time you do it, you'll go crazy. After you do it the first time, it's like, okay, well, that's what it is. I know it now. And then it's not a problem. The first time you do it, you have to sort of say, okay, I have to press this button, I have to press that button, whatever. Go to the next one. Mendeley. Mendeley is set up to drag PDFs into Mendeley. You could also have a watch folder where if you downloaded it, it would watch it and put it in. There's a browser site, a browser plugin on Mendeley. I have always had a hard time getting it to work for me in the library. I don't know why that is, probably because a lot of the library programs are locked down for various reasons. I have somebody else that's working on Mendeley, thinks the web plugin works great and you can download stuff. So
it's kind of the opposite of how it works in Zotero, where you have a browser plugin button that you hit, and that brings it down directly to your Zotero. And if you want to sync it up with your sort of online presence on Zotero, then you have to hit a sync button to make that happen. But it always comes directly down to to your laptop essentially.
Let's see, let's go to the next one. So here's the Zotero, the Mendeley web importer. There's a little icon up here, a little Mendeley thing. So when you're on it, you run a search on a database, you click this, it should pull up the citations that are there. You click the ones you want, say add to Mendeley, and they download to Mendeley web. And we'll talk about the web portions of these things later on. You can just hit the next button.
And that's very similar to Zotero, both Mendeley and Zotero. They're looking at not the whole 1,000 results in your results list, but just the 33 or however many that show on that one screen. And to get the whole search results, you would have to click through several screens.
Zotero also has a web plugin. They also have a magic wand thing, so if you know the number of a book number, which is ISBN, International Standard Book Number, DOI, digital object, there's no reason you would know that unless you already possessed the book or something. But if you had that piece of information, you could throw it into the bond and it would get the information. It works wonderfully well. Hit the next button so you can see. I actually think this, the Zotero web importer is the best. I love this thing. I really do. There's a little icon up there. You run a search, comes up to a page. Some icon comes up, you click it. It's going to give you the titles of all these things. You just click what you want, or you could click all. You select all. It's going to download. The only problem I have is the library's sort of major discovery tool is called Discover@MU, and it really glumps together about 40 databases all at once. None of them are very good in figuring out where the PDFs are located. So this does not get the PDFs very well from Discover@MU, but there are, Discover@MU, again, is just multiple databases put together. You can figure out what the name of the database you really want to search is, and go in there and search that. And then this thing works like a breeze. I honestly wish everybody else would steal this and put it into their citation managers. It would make it so much better. They all look the same when you look at them. When you pull up the managers, just go to click it and we'll see what they
Yeah,
look
think iTunes, they all do. I mean, that's what they all.
So what is this? This is Endnote. Again, they're all going to have 3 columns. Over here, it's going to have your folders in your library. You can add folders. You can subdivide these things. All these citations, for all the managers, you can have one citation in number of folders. It doesn't matter. It's going to pop it up. Okay. Here's the citations. Again, they're going to work slightly different. Endnote, you put title, it's sort of A to Z or Z to A, author. You can sort them a million ways. Over on the right-hand panel, this is the metadata it's using to make the citation. If it's goofed up and got a name wrong or the title's wrong or something, here's where you want to come to fix that. So it will import the correct citation. And over here on Endnote is where the PDFs sit. If you go to the next one, you'll see that.
And that fourth column is one Zotero does not have. You don't get the nice little thumbnails with that.
Column over here with your library folders, citations. Again, metadata over here. And then you just click Zotero, same thing, folders, citations, metadata over here. PDFs, if there's a PDF attached to it, they're going to do slightly different, but it's not vastly different. You get a paperclip in Endnote. You're going to get the PDF icon in Mendeley, and you're going to get a dot over here in Zotero. And we flipped it to the other side, so it's on the right, not the left. PDF reader. Endnote comes with a PDF reader. Mendeley comes with what I think is a super PDF reader. Zotero uses whatever PDF reader you have on your machine. The library upgraded Adobe Acrobat or whatever it is. So now I kind of like the PDF reader we have. It works really well. So I'm happier now with our PDF reader with Zotero than I was before. But again, if you could find some wonderful PDF reader up on the web, you could put it in, you could tell Zotero, that's what I want to use. And you could have all the functionality you want from a PDF reader. You hit the next button. Again, on Endnote, it's just going to pop up. It's going to take the full screen. That's where it is. Mendeley, I kind of like. It's going to put the PDF on one side, and on the other side, it's going to have an area where you can actually put in notes. Hit the back or hit the button again. We'll just go forward. And here's Zotero. Here's the reader, and there's Zotero in the background. So you can see it's just popped up whatever reader you've got.
You can move the windows around your screen and make them kind of more side by side and kind of adjust the sizes of the windows. You can do that, but yeah, it's not like Mendeley where it's nicely integrated.
Hit the slide, we're going on, taking notes. Again, I'm keen about people taking notes so you know where you're going, you know what you've done. There was a class here a couple of days ago on sort of doing a literature review, and one of the people presenting said, oh, well, you know, you can put in special codes on your PDF to tag it and stuff. And one of the things was like Q+, so you know, hey, that was the passage I want to quote. I think that's really smart. You could put that in there. You could have it highlighted, so if you wanted to quote the whole thing, you know where to go. You pull it up. Question of ease, EndNote. You could put EndNote notes in research notes. It's not very convenient. I think if I were doing it, I'd have to have reading the PDF. I'd have to have a separate little program open so I could take my notes, probably in plain text or something, then I would copy and put them into my research notes. I can tell you, once they're in here, you can put a ton of notes in there. I've just copied up tons and tons of web pages, just text and thrown them in there to see how much it takes. It seems like it swallows the world. There's no end to it. It'll take anything you want. The good part is you can search all those things. Mendeley, this is my favorite thing. You can have the note field over there. So you can just read the thing and type in the notes. Again, it will let you mark stuff up. Zotero, again, it's standing alone. If you want a note, you can say, I want a note, and then you can have a standalone note if you wanted to. I'm not sure why you do that. Or you could add a child note, and that just puts it, attaches it to the citation, the way Mendeley and Zotero do.
Yeah, I mean, a standalone note might be something like your plan for, kind of your overall plan for a paper, and then a child note would be, yeah, a note attached to a particular resource in there.
Go to the next one. We need to push on. Again, searching this stuff, you can search the citations, no problem. But these will also let you search the full text of the PDFs, which I think is really good. Yeah.
Can you search through your notes as well?
Yes. Yes.
In all of them, yeah.
Huh?
In all
Yeah,
three programs, yes.
Yeah, which is great. Anyway, hit the next button. You gotta go and get these people on that machine. How do you get the stuff into Word, or how does Word get it? They're gonna put, each of the citation managers is gonna put a tab into Word. Before it started, the question is, can you put it into Google Docs? And it looks like Zotero is starting to put it into Google Docs, and Endnote maybe. I think you're gonna have to go online and Google and see if Mendeley Google Docs, Zotero Google Docs, see if that works, if that's the way you work. They were set up to work with Word, and they put in a plug-in to Word, and Word talks to the Citation Manager on your laptop or desktop, get the information. So if you hit the next slide, you'll just see, here's EndNote. There's just a tab, EndNote X9. I wanted to go to EndNote, I'd click that, I go to EndNote. All these things, you get a citation into Word by starting with Word, and then going into the Citation Manager, and then coming back to Word. Mendeley puts it under the references thing in something called the Cite-O-Matic, which I really like, because I know Mendeley was created by a graduate student. So Cite-O-Matic. Next one, next slide. Zotero's got a slide or a tab. It says Zotero up at the top. So you click it, you go to Zotero, and that's how you get to the Zotero database. Citation styles, I think they're about the same. They all have 4,000 or 5,000 citation styles. It's just amazing. You can modify them in EndNote and Mendeley. EndNote will let you do anything in that way. I mean, you could modify it to your heart's content. Sharing things. EndNote, you can share your whole library with PDFs if you wanted to do that. I don't know anybody who would want to do that. Or you could share a folder with another person, but no PDFs. But if they're all coming from MU databases, they will all have a link that will go back to that database. So if you shared your folder, the person that needed the PDFs could just click an icon Endnote would go there and find all the PDFs and download them. There's also something called a traveling library. So if somebody else has an Endnote library, if you give them a Word document still formatted in Endnote, all the citations will come in. They can open it in Word, report all those things. Mendeley, I don't know what's going on with Mendeley. Mendeley used to let you share PDFs. Now they say you can't share PDFs, but I've got this team I'm working with, and we're sharing PDFs, so I don't know what to tell you. It may work, may not work, don't know. Zotero, you can share citations and PDFs.
And it kind of depends actually what kind of group in Zotero Online that you create. If you create like a private group, there you can share PDFs until you run up against a limit of how much PDF storage you have in your online portion of Zotero. And then, but there's a couple of other kinds of like a public group that just anybody can join. Copyright gets in the way of you being able to share PDFs like with the entire universe.
Let's go to the next slide real fast. Oh, storage. Endnote, it's a commercial product. The library, not the library, the university has pretty much bought it for you guys as students. So you're going to get unlimited storage. You're going to get all this good stuff. Mendeley, we'll see what goes on with Mendeley. They used to give us an institutional membership, which had more storage. And then for some reason they took it away, and now maybe they're giving it back. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But I'm going to tell you that for free, they're going to give 2 gigabytes of storage and 100 megabytes of shared space, which is a lot, actually. If you want more, they'll charge you. So Zotero's going to give you 300 megabytes free, and they'll give you more also. This is their web component, and their web component is primarily set up as a backup and a storage for your library. I think all these citation managers were set up to be on somebody's computer, so they can talk to Word really easily.
And there, the storage of PDFs is free. You do not have to pay to store anything with either Zotero, Mendeley, or Endnote, as long as you're storing the PDFs on your computer and not uploading it to sort of the mirror part online.
So that's the deal. It depends what you want to store up there. If you have multiple computers, the whole idea of the web thing, this web storage, is that I can have Endnote on my computer here in my lab, and when I go home, I can have Endnote, and I can sync my libraries. So I've got both the libraries up to date. And that's really what the web storage is, to sync multiple copies of your library on multiple computers and keep them up to date. Zotero, it's meant for storage too. They do have a scholarly social network, so you can share research interests. Mendeley's web thing is totally crazy. I'm so old, I don't really understand it. It tries to be a social network, so like Facebook or something. So it also, everybody, when you put your citations up to Mendeley, they go into a library that is searchable by everybody. So you think, well, what good is that? And then you think, oh, well, maybe these guys are actually doing decent research, and maybe they found some good citations. I can just go in there and search that. It's kind of a selected body of citations rather than searching millions of citations all at once. I'm searching a smaller, more select body of citations. So you might like that. Then they've got other things. You can see, you can join groups, interest groups. They've got data sets, job information. The other thing with Mendeley, when you've got your citations up there, periodically, they will just email you and say, well, this looks like something you're interested in. And just mail you the citation. Maybe you want it, maybe you don't. But again, they do different things. Setup considerations. Endnote, a pain, you've got to do this. If you're going to do Endnote, I like Endnote. But what you want to do is make sure you have a separate folder that you're putting Endnote in. Endnote has a place where they keep the data and another file that sort of starts it all up. And if those things get separated somehow or other, Endnote doesn't work very well. You also have to put in the proxy server address and the full text finder address. Guess what? They're up on that web page. So you just copy and paste them into Endnote, and then you can do it on campus. It works fine.
That's the same
If you
as
want to play
Zotero.
with it in here in this classroom, it should go through. We won't have to worry about proxy prefix or anything else. But if you're off campus, you definitely want to set it up, or you'll go, it doesn't work, what's the matter? Well, it doesn't know where to look for the PDFs. Mendeley has this thing that I wish they would tell you about. When you drag in a PDF to Mendeley, all it does is copy the path of that PDF. So if you decide, oh, well, I've got PDFs here, I've got PDFs here, I should just have one big folder of PDFs, and you move them all into this big folder, guess what? Mendeley won't know where to look because the path will have changed. So it will have the citation, but it won't be able to connect to the PDF. So I think that could be that would be a real problem for me if suddenly all my PDFs kind of just.
Yeah, and you can actually set Zotero to do
on.
that.
And I'll have you drag in a PDF, and then I'll have you erase the PDF and see if the PDF is gone.
I've run into that problem before.
Okay.
But I'm also looking at my entire library with access to the PDFs from this PC.
Yeah.
That are certainly not saved on this PC. So I'm curious as to where the problem enters the.
Well, guess what? If you try to sync here, I don't think your PDFs would sync.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're going to do even with Mendeley is I think you're going to sync the citations, but not the PDFs. I don't know. We should try it. We should try it. I mean, it's been brought up before, but I think I've tried it before. I haven't done it to work. So again, I'm just talking from my experience, and maybe I'm not doing it right.
Yeah, maybe it's a setting. I mean,
Yeah.
in Zotero, that's a setting, and by default, it actually makes a copy in Zotero, but you can set it, like if you have so many PDFs that it actually is slowing Zotero down, which I think is a little bit less of a problem as Zotero has transitioned from just a pure web plugin to a standalone product like these other two. I mean, people did get their Zotero slowed down by having too many PDFs in it. So you could set a default so that you are linking to PDFs that you might keep in one big folder on your desktop. And I just would always advise people, if you're using that setting, don't ever move your PDFs, because otherwise, yeah, that will happen. It'll lose track of them.
What Endnote does, Endnote and Zotero, take the PDF and make a copy and put it into their Citation Manager. So, I mean, if you were downloading them to something or other, the download folder, you could get rid of that and they'd all be there. But, I forgot what I was going to say with Rachel. It doesn't matter. We'll go on with it. Dangers. We've done the dangers. Unique features. Mendeley has that literature search I was talking about. So you can search Mendeley's library citation. It has these online interest groups. You can actually go in and look up an article and see how many people are reading it, see who's reading it, which is sort of interesting. Endnote has the traveling library, so you can give citations to other people really easily. If they're working with Endnote, you're golden. Zotero has the magic wand, which is great if you've got some kind of, it works really well for DOIs and stuff like that. If you've got that, put that in, we'll pop it up. Great. Is that it? Are we done? Oh, support. Again, I always tell people Endnote is actually a commercial product. They have an 800 number. You might sit on the phone for 15 minutes until you get somebody, but when you get somebody, they will help you. I think that everybody who's called them has thought they have really good customer service, and they'll try and solve it. We've got people here in the libraries who know Endnote. A woman over at VetMed does it all the time. She's a queen, but for certain things, for computers are computers, we can sort of figure out how Endnote works, but if it's a computer problem, maybe they can help you out. So again, Mendeley, you send them an email, their FAQs, their YouTube videos, okay? Zotero, FAQs knowledge database. I think Zotero probably is more responsive than Mendeley, just because there's a bigger community of people doing it. So it seems like it's more on the spot.